The moment his hands left the rail of the Golden Gate Bridge and his legs cleared it, he knew he had made the biggest mistake of his life, and he begged God to let him live. His body plummeted for 4 seconds, long enough to really let the regret set in as he fell 250 feet and approached nearly 80 miles per hour before his body impacted the water. As he was clinging to life with his broken body bobbing up and down in the frigid waters, he started to think that there might be a sliver of hope until he felt a slimy creature circling under him. And he was certain that he had survived the fall just to now succumb to a shark attack. Hey y'all, Dixie here. Today I want to tell you about Kevin Hines and the incredible animal interaction that actually ended up saving his life. To understand the full story, you really have to start back when Kevin was born in March of 1981. Kevin and his brother were born to parents who suffered from bipolar disorder. With his family, Kevin lived in and out of crack motels in the worst neighborhoods in San Francisco and went through a lot of years of neglect. A motel clerk actually reported that Kevin and his brother were being truly neglected, and the state stepped in and took them into custody. At some point while they were in the system, Kevin and his brother came down with a really horrible bout of bronchitis. And sadly, his brother ended up succumbing to it, and Kevin lost the only person he really felt like was on his team in his life. But thankfully, he ended up in a really good home with Patrick and Debbie Hines. He got into sports. He did roller hockey. He had a lot of friends that he hung out with. The hallucinations started in 4th grade with him seeing demons in his bedroom. He also began to hear voices, angry voices. And at 17, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, type 1 with psychotic features. His adoptive parents tried everything to give him the best life that they could. They had him in the swim team, he was wrestling, doing all the things that a healthy teenage boy would want to do.
At the end of his junior year in high school, he had huge mood swings. And during his senior year, they were just compelling.
At this point, Kevin had many delusions and hallucinations and a lot of mental issues, but he tried to keep those to himself because he didn't want to end up locked up in a padded room.
While I was hallucinating, I had made the assumption there were bugs in my bed that were giving me AIDS and stuff like that. I sprayed my bed sheets with a disinfectant, like a deodorizer or something like that. But I sprayed my bed sheets, and I sleep in that. I inhaled it all night long, which caused the hallucinations to become greater and greater.
I called his psychiatrist, had a conversation with him, and the psychiatrist told me, no, don't worry about it. Everything is going to be fine.
At the young age of 19, he wrote a goodbye letter to his family, his closest friends, and his girlfriend at the time. One day later, Kevin decided that he had to end his life. And Kevin has said in his own words that he wanted to live. He didn't want to die, but he felt like he must die. These voices in his head had convinced him that this must happen. And he wanted to tell his father what he was planning, what he was going to do that day, but the words just wouldn't come. So Kevin ended up boarding a bus that day, and even on the bus, he was suffering from and being tormented by these voices that kept telling him that he was worthless, nobody loved him, and that he needed to die. He even screamed out and was bawling his eyes out on the bus, but nobody paid any attention. And as the bus pulled up near the Golden Gate Bridge, with tears in his eyes, he walked towards the bus driver, and the bus driver just ushered him off. Kevin paced the length of the Golden Gate Bridge for 40 minutes, hoping that somebody would care. Somebody would ask him if he was okay. And he would tell them that no, he was not okay. No, he needed help. He passed police officers, pedestrians, and there was even a woman who asked him to take a picture of her. So in his mind, he convinced himself that nobody cared And that's when he decided to make the leap. And he has since acknowledged that all of his friends, family, acquaintances, anybody would have been there for him that day had they known what he was planning to do. And the moment that his hands left the railing and his legs cleared it, he had instant regret. He fell 250 feet, which is approximately 25 stories, and his body reached a speed of 80 miles per hour before he impacted the water. And when you hit a surface like that, it's like hitting an asphalt parking lot. Your body stops for a moment, and then it's sucked under by a vacuum about 70 feet. Upon impact, he shattered 3 vertebrae, and as he was sucked under the water, it got murkier and darker, and his ears were ringing and his eyes were bulging, and he was very disoriented and could not tell which way was up towards the surface. So he swam and swam and swam and was hoping that he was going in the correct direction. And at some point, he finally started to see the light from the surface. He was afraid that he couldn't make it. There was just no way he was going to have enough air and enough strength with a broken spine to make it. And he was terrified to think that nobody would know that he actually didn't want to die, that he wanted to live in this moment. So he had to make it. When he finally made it to the surface, he was freezing cold and his broken body was bobbing up and down. He kept coming up and going under and coming up and going under. When he thought maybe there was some hope that he could pull through this situation, he felt a slimy sea creature circling under him. And he was certain that he had pulled through to this point just to be attacked by a shark. But thankfully for Kevin that day, it wasn't a shark. It was a sea lion. And that sea lion kept circling under Kevin and nudging him and bumping him to the surface as he bobbed up and down until the Coast Guard was able to come and pull Kevin to safety out of the water. Witnesses who saw Kevin's rescue that day confirmed that they saw a sea lion circling under him. So why exactly did this happen? Did the sea lion know that Kevin was in trouble and was trying to help him? While sea lions are highly intelligent and they do possess problem-solving abilities and they are capable of showing empathy, cognitive scientists believe that they lack the advanced theory of mind needed to actually recognize the idea of mortality and that a human life needs saving. It may have been curiosity and play. Sea lions are known to inspect things floating in the water, and they may nudge it and poke around with it and play just to explore and out of curiosity. In fact, it's also not uncommon for sea lions and seals to approach humans when they feel like they're in danger from predators and to hug humans. Like they've actually hugged divers or people swimming to get away from predators or if they feel threatened as a form of protection. And I feel like I should put a side note here. While they are generally not aggressive animals just out of nowhere, you really shouldn't approach them trying to give them a hug because they can be aggressive if they feel like they need to be defensive. And apparently a bite from a sea lion or a seal can end in a really gnarly infection. So I would keep a safe distance and let them approach you. Another idea is that maybe it was a she lion that was having some maternal instincts. In the wild, sea lions may nudge and protect their pups and other members of their pod if they are distressed or seemingly in danger. So it could have been an instinctual thing that maybe the sea lion did actually sense some sort of trouble or danger and its instincts took over. Who knows? But the bottom line is, if that sea lion hadn't circled under Kevin and kept nudging him to the surface, he probably wouldn't have been here to tell his story. 99% of people who jump from the Golden Gate Bridge die, and Kevin got a second chance. After a 10-hour surgery to repair his back and a long road of recovery, Physically, Kevin was doing much better. Mentally, he has continued to deal with challenges throughout the years, but he has made it his mission to save as many lives as possible by sharing his story and by encouraging people to say 4 words when they are in danger. I need help now. And Kevin encourages people who need help to say that to however many people it takes, but somebody will help you. He was a key advocate lobbying for the safety net to be installed below the Golden Gate Bridge. Its installation began in 2018 and it was completed in 2024, and it has drastically reduced the amount of suicides. I will link to his website where you can learn more about Kevin's work and his mission in the video description. A year after he jumped, Kevin and his father returned to the Golden Gate Bridge to the exact spot where Kevin had tried to take his life a year before. As a symbol of honoring his survival, he dropped a flower over the bridge and into the water. He watched it float down until it landed on the surface of the water. A few feet away, a sea lion emerged. That is all I have for y'all today, and if you'd like to hear another one of these incredible animal encounters, then let me know in the comments and maybe I'll do one of these again in the future. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we will see y'all next time.